It's Friday. Do you know where your IT pros are? We don't. It's Patch and Switch. And now, two guys who couldn't make it as workers in a soap factory, but they still want you to call them Bubbles. Oh, wait, sorry, I wasn't supposed to read this one. It says strike Pat. Don't read a next show. Here they are, Patch and Switch.
I guess this is the Friday where you don't need to know where your IT pros are, unlike last Friday?
Too early. Too soon.
Too early? Too soon?
People are
still
soon? Going through pain.
Too soon.
Is that too soon? Too soon?
Too soon.
Way too soon.
But we really do have to work on the highlighter for the announcer guy, because we went through this in our rehearsal.
Exactly.
We went through this in the rehearsal.
Look. The one thing we worked in that soap factory, we were clean.
That was very clean.
Hey, we got another spammer.
Oh, yay spammers. Yay spammers.
Got another spammer.
Oh, yeah.
This VP says they work in a soap opera. True. Good morning. Good evening.
Hey,
good afternoon. Or as they say down under, good day, mate.
I was trying to say happy Sysadmin Day. Apparently, the marketers have inundated a couple of different socials talking about happy Sysadmin Day, and it's 1 week after that lovely CrowdStrike issue. And everything else.
Listen,
has it been a long time or what?
Grab yourself a $10 Uber gift card and sell it.
Uber Eats. But that was for their contractors. They came out and they said it was for their contractors.
Sorry. Okay, sorry, sysadmins. Yeah. Grab yourself whatever happens to be left in the fridge because somebody didn't take their lunch home, and kick back and enjoy your Friday.
Nice. And I want to thank Wired Canuck for using obfuscation on his chat message for how Australians properly greet people.
I thought that was ChatGPT's response.
It's a Monday, almost, but we have a weekend before the Monday. So today's a Friday. It is just before the weekend. It's a great way to start the weekend or start thinking about the weekend. So if you haven't already, top up your coffee, pour yourself another pint, whatever it takes. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you being here.
Yes, absolutely. And even if you're not here live, which is on twitch.tv/patchandswitch and also on YouTube. At the Patch and Switch channel, of course, available through all your podcasting apps if you miss an opportunity. But we're usually here on the videos, reasonably decent quality. We won't talk about the audio, but feel free to join us in chat, or if you just want to kick that. We have a lot of lurkers, there's a lot of folks that just they just enjoy listening to the podcasty. Which we appreciate you.
And if the sharp viewers would notice that we are 100% up to date with all back episodes have been published.
Oh.
And again, as you mentioned, you can just go to patchandswitch.com and see where they're all at, or just find us in your directory. We have at least one review. One. It's a 5-star.
We have one 5-star review. Let's go.
It's a 5-star review. And,
shut it down. Shut it down. We cannot beat perfection.
It may or may not have been one of my relatives that put it.
Okay, fair enough.
So it's possible.
We should say hello to our friends.
Please. Who's around?
Well, apparently J-Flow's around, but more importantly, Cooper's around. So good to see you, Cooper. DJ Eddie L revisits, of course, the Vizio MVP in the house. Chaos 13X. Aspen Forrester is here as well. Scrolling. Timeout. Kowski's here.
Nice.
Teachers, Tecker, T3HCR. I can't read.
These lead names, I'm telling you.
My glasses are so dirty today. I just can't see anything. Absolutely in the house. And then, of course, we did already say Rachel is here, first time chatter, saying hello.
Nice.
Hello. the algorithm doing its thing. Hey,
You got it.
how's your week been, man? Or the fortnight? It's been a fortnight since it does not feel like a fortnight. It feels like it was just
It
just
feels like it's
yesterday.
been a long time. Work-wise, actually, one of the words that came in. This is just it's internal stuff that's going on, but
Oh,
our
yeah, we're not gonna talk
organization
about
was reorged into a larger organization, which is normal for this time of year. If you follow Microsoft politics and everything that goes on in Microsoft, July 1st is a fiscal year. They also take the first month and change and the month leading up to it and kind of shuffle some stuff around. And they simply moved us into another organization. So
Follow the ping pong ball. Follow the ping pong ball.
follow the ping pong ball. So everything stays the same. We're still employed.
Allegedly.
But
For
everything
now.
that way. Work-wise, I've been actually helping out my good friend Wired Connect with.
We'll talk about that when we get to the first segment of the show. But
Yeah. Not bad.
Or is it time to jump right in? Are we really going to do the first segment of the show
We
6
don't have
minutes
to jump in so fast if you don't want. It's your call. How was your week?
I've been back and forth to the airport about 17 times.
Because you've had family members and friends fly in and fly out of Vegas.
Coming and going. And
was there a little interruption or something
it's a
that happened?
minor disruption. Minor disruption. So, all right, tell the story. So, the youngest goes to Bend, Oregon, via way of Eugene, to visit her friend that is going to school at University of Oregon, and then they've now moved to Bend from the city of Redmond, Washington, where we used to be. And then the lovely Mrs. Heather has gone out to she went out to the Orlandos to a conference. She's now a travel agent, so she went to a travel agent conference. And as she departed, no problems leaving Vegas. Even with we've had some crazy like monsoon thunderstorms pop up. It's late, late July into August that stuff happens. Got to Atlanta. Well, got to outside of Atlanta. And then thunderstorms popped up and they said, we need you to circle. And captain says, we're overweight. We don't have enough fuel. We're going to land in Mobile, Alabama. And I'm just like, oh no. Hopefully the crew doesn't time out, because this plane, the original flight had gone from Orlando to Las Vegas.
Okay.
Or, sorry.
So they're definitely got
from
the average
Atlanta to Las Vegas, right? So we're just like, I'm like, ooh. So they land, they refuel, they're good to go. They get to next plane out on the runway, and then they get held there because of lightning and a thunderstorm, which then causes her to miss her connecting flight from Atlanta to Orlando. So we switch her out onto another flight because the app says, hey, look, there's a disruption. We suggest you change things. And so we get that taken care of. Eventually, after waiting on the tarmac for an hour and 25 minutes, they take off. Short flight into the Atlantas. They get to Atlanta. Atlanta completely shuts down for an hour. Now, this happens to be Delta's biggest hub in the U.S. I know they've got one at MSP and Detroit and Salt Lake City, but Atlanta's their main one, right? Particularly for anything East Coast. So we just watched a flight that goes from 8:30 to 9:30 to 10:30. Eventually board, 10:30, they get out on the runway. Similar situation. They get held due to weather. Another storm passes by. They take off. As they land in Orlando, this just happens to be the time where that particular outage that we've just gone through begins. Yeah. So her bags came in on a different flight because Delta just said bags go. I think her bags made an earlier flight or whatever the situation was, as per all the changing around. They couldn't figure out quite where her bag was. And eventually she saw it, located it, was out. Only took like 20, 30 minutes. So not the biggest of things. But then everything just proceeds to melt down, right? So now I've got two people opposite ends of the country. Now, child one, she was flying Southwest. Not too worried about that, right? They were good and stable, but other folks coming in from Seattle on other airlines coming in to visit. Flight canceled on Thursday. Flight delayed on Friday. Eventually made it in, but just in time for their concert. They were coming here for a concert. Just happened to be staying with us. And then they ended up not risking it and getting the early morning flight out because we predicted thunderstorms here in the afternoon. So it's been a lot of driving back and forth to the airport and stop go and watching planes. And eventually after 9.5 hours on hold, because we wanted to change my wife's flight instead of connecting in Atlanta, going to Salt Lake City when she was coming home, because there was a prediction as early as Monday that Thursday was going to be a very bad day in Atlanta. And it absolutely was a bad day in Atlanta again yesterday. But luckily enough, after the 9.5 hours on hold in the chat, they eventually got her switched. I switched her over. She came home through Salt Lake. Just a minor delay because there was a thunderstorm in Salt Lake City last night before she took off. And eventually landed. We got home close to 1 a.m. But everybody's here. We're all good. That is a doozy. I can't imagine what would have happened because, I mean, Delta was already struggling because Atlanta was shut down for over an hour, and then they had major delays departing and leaving. I can't imagine what that situation could have potentially turned out to be. 30 minutes. Like, you're literally like 30 minutes after they touch down, everything started going crazy. It's interesting. Did you see the Troy Hunt tweet? The original. Something weird is going on. I'm hearing from multiple sources.
It's great having friends in Australia that kind of give us the early warning through the socials and through connections.
But I wasn't looking at anything social media or media because when I eventually got back, it was like I went to bed because I was just dealing with her. Like she landed. I had a very early morning the next morning, and I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to go to bed until I pass out. And I wake up the next morning, and I'm like, oh dear, what has happened? What has even happened? So, and I'm sure, I'm sure there's a lot of Passion Switch viewers who are missing the program this week as they're still doing
finishing it up. It has been some good tools that have been made available, some good documentation. I was following live on a lot of stuff going on in the socials, promoting different MVPs that had some solutions to go off and try to do this stuff at scale. So it was interesting time.
Did you see the post on social media? The two guys in the airport with their high visibility vests on the ladder, basically BCG my guess, editing into the machine.
My guess the discussion from CrowdStrike that was talking about how many millions of PCs and servers were affected and stuff like that, and that they only have a small percentage left to deal with. Those are all ones that are going to require ladders or crawling inside of machinery or other things that are just not easily accessible.
Yeah,
because it's all inside the manufacturing process or inside of digital signage and stuff like that. To go off and to fix that last part.
TRP 8472 out there post says battered today. I'm sure there's stories. There's stories. There are stories. After the hangover from all of this comes back, I would love to. These are some of the from the trenches stories that I want to hear about. Right? I want to understand, because remember, initially there was this panic of there is no other solution than to go to the machine, and then obviously there was some word that came out that, hey, after about 15 reboots, things may eventually come back around.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are some machines that you actually have to physically go touch, but then there's other solutions, other patches, and then you've got things like BitLocker and other bits. It's going to be very similar to things like SQL Slammer, right? I was working in IT at that time. What were you at Microsoft, or what were you doing when Slammer hit?
I was a consultant for a firm in Ottawa, Canada, that had contracts down in Atlantic Canada and around. Slammer was around that time, super fun. I remember one time this consultant from a different company was at a customer site, and he plugged his laptop into the network, and my contact at the customer came around within like 20 minutes of the guy plugging in, and then took a pair of scissors and cut the cable because his laptop was trying to reach out and infect other systems as a consultant.
Instead of unplugging it, just cut it.
Just literally just cut it. And so the consultant kind of sheepishly just closed the lid, picked up the laptop, and walked out. So, yeah, not good. Not good as a consultant.
Forrester says, I picked the right weekend to be on PTO. Oof.
Yeah. That's a
get away with it, right?
Like
Didn't get emergency called in. But Slammer for me, I was one of those who sequel boxes are this magical, mythical thing that sit in a corner nobody touches. I just happened to have one of our external consultants come in and patch the box about a week before Slammer hit. So we had actually taken the patch. So we were good. We were about the only server for this particular workload that was still online. But that was a doozy too. I mean, yeah. Speaking of travel fun, our friend, another random IT guy, I think might still be trying to get to Milwaukee, and it's day 19.
Oh, there you go.
He's apparently what I've seen from his text messages is just a mere part of what his fun adventure was, and it makes my wife's story look silly. But he also has a family of like 32 kids that he's trying to get over there. Absabloggaluli says, had a vendor do something similar on a brand new server install at a client site, headed back on site the next day again.
Yeah.
Aspen says, in my role, there was zero I could have done about it anyway, in reference to the CrowdStrike thing. So, hey, there you go. Just sit back, enjoy, kick back with a piece of pizza, so on and so forth. Hey, I'm excited. The Olympics have started.
Okay. I actually saw a reference that seemed very non-Canadian. Did you hear about this one?
Very non-Canadian.
Very, very, very non-Canadian.
Did somebody eat fries without gravy and curds?
No. A particular set of coaches used a drone to be able to monitor another team that they were going to play.
Oh no!
On a football match.
And they didn't say sorry.
And they got caught and ejected from the games. And the fallout has also made it so that the head coach of the soccer team has been removed from their position as well.
Oh, is this the men's team?
No, this is the women's team, I think.
The women's team.
Women's soccer team.
Oh, they're a medal threat. They were definitely a medal threat.
Yeah. So not good. Not good.
They're still in the Olympics. They just don't have coaches.
Yeah. They have to figure out other coaching options, I guess. But yeah, very un-Canadian behavior there.
Wow.
Someone's regretting their choices that morning, I think. For that.
That's that. Yeah. Listen, they will not have maple syrup when they get home.
No.
They will be fine. So I'm excited. There's no softball. I'm a little disappointed. There's no softball in this.
The host country gets to choose what different ancillary events are part of it, and they kick softball out.
Well, they don't have a facility.
Yeah.
However, in 4 years' time, the game's in LA.
Yeah.
They will be playing softball. Do you know where they're going to be playing? Do you know the facility that they're going to be playing in?
No.
They'll be playing in Oklahoma City.
Oh, yeah.
The home of the Softball World Series, Women's College World Series. Even though the games are in LA, when you have a venue that can seat over 30,000 people for softball, I think that's probably the best. It's designed, right? That venue is specifically designed for softball, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm down to go to Oklahoma City, watch some Olympic softball.
Not be offended by it.
At any rate, okay, so just 20 minutes, and we should probably talk about our show. Oh, let's see. DJ Eddie L. Olympics highlight so far has been Snoop Dogg carrying the torch. Hey, Eddie, you should check out Snoop Dogg with the U.S. women's fencing team. That was very amusing. So Snoop Dogg's at the Olympics. Did you know this? You know Snoop Dogg is at the Olympics?
I did not know. I know now, though.
Yeah. Breakdancing is part of the Olympics this year. Did you know that? breakdancing.
I did not.
It's going to be exciting. Oh, and speaking of Olympics, big news coming out of Paris as well with the organizing committee. Salt Lake City getting the 2034 Winter Olympic Games, which is exciting. So I don't know if you know this history. For me, I helped in the 98 and 2002 bids.
You helped last century.
Shut up.
Oh.
And then secondly, esports is now going to have an Olympics.
Interesting.
That's super
make it
cool.
work.
I think that's
Yeah.
really cool. I'm very curious to see what games. I think Valorant is like absolutely must be there. And then what's the other big one? Help me out, Jared. What's the other big esports game?
League of Legends.
League of Legends. Yes, thank you. Which have you
CS:GO.
ever played League of Legends? I've never
I
played.
have not.
No.
I have not.
There's also probably going to be COD and Rainbow Six because there's big leagues around that too.
And CS:GO probably.
And CSGO, yeah.
Counter Strike.
I don't play any of these games. I feel bad.
Well, you barely play COD.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. You know what? Screw this. Start the show. First
J Flo
segment.
says Angry Birds question mark.
Angry Birds. First segment from the trenches, my friend.
Yes, if
From
this is
the
your first time
trenches.
visiting, we actually do talk about things. The first part is from the trenches, things that we do in our day jobs. Obviously, a little day jobs crossing over with folks in chat talking about the recent outage last week. You said earlier in the program that you've been helping Pierre.
Yeah, it's been rough.
Isn't Pierre helping you?
It's a little bit of both, actually.
Okay, fair enough.
We mutually impact each other.
I plead
First of all, we're colliding with administrative rights, trying to remote control a box at the same time and bumping each other out of the box.
Oh, nice, nice.
For a demo system. He's building content for an upcoming worldwide tour for Microsoft called the AI Tour.
Are there T-shirts?
I don't know if there's T-shirts. Probably not, would be my guess. But he's
The
building
Pierre
some stuff.
Roman worldwide tour.
Pierre Roman. We should make
I
some.
can
up.
make some.
Yeah,
You're a double XL, right?
yeah. Thanks, double XL. So he's doing a session. It's called AI infrastructure, managing AI infrastructure, or using AI to manage your infrastructure. Talking about a bunch of
Leveraging
really cool
AI
stuff.
for infrastructure management.
Thank you, Headless Voice, for sharing the title. And part of it is we're showcasing some stuff with Azure Arc integration and having AI query the results of what's going on, among other things. And so I'm like, hey, man, we've got this Azure Stack HCI box that's needing to be spun back up and brought up to new levels. And so in May, Microsoft released an update for 23H2 for Azure Stack HCI that you can install, but it's not an upgrade. It's literally a redo. Like, throw down the new OS on top of the machine, individual nodes, and then bring it back up again, kind of
Format
thing.
C : and start again.
It's pretty well like that, but it has to be, secure boot UEFI. And you've got now the install has a bunch of prep that you have to do. Once the prep is done, then you go in and you do configurations on your Azure environment to support it. And then you actually do the install from Azure to go through to remotely come back down and talk to your boxes through the Azure Arc agents, among more. And we've run into a little bit of a snag after working through a bunch of problems, whereby the network controller cards that connect the two systems together for the cluster are not recognized correctly and are causing the install to morph. That's the technical term, morph.
Oh, okay.
And all the documentation says when there's error messages, you look them up and you can see it. I want to look at the troubleshooting error messages, and I feel for this. This is I have the feels about this. It literally says contact Microsoft support.
Oh,
There's no troubleshooting at this point. So there's a couple of more things we're going to try later today to try to get this box up and going, but it literally comes down to contact Microsoft support, because the primary channel for getting Azure Stack HCI is through a hardware vendor,
Right.
mostly pre-installed and ready to go.
right.
We're doing it kind of the ad hoc way.
You're doing it the internal way.
The internal way of you can get the bits, you can download the bits if you have an Azure subscription, but normally you'd be more guided through your support contract with your hardware vendor. So these boxes are they're called S2D 5108 from Data on Storage. They're two little 1U boxes that have a RDMA network card to be able to make an interconnect between them. And then they give you some phenomenal performance with your VM workloads that are running on top of this storage cluster. But I reached out to my good friend Howard over at Data On. And he's like, yeah, I'll hook you up to talk to the support guys to be able to work it out. So we'll probably post some videos talking about it at some point in the not too distant future. But yeah, we're almost there. I'd say we're about 80%. But Pierre's been doing all the rest of the heavy lifting of all the other demos and all the other stuff. I'm just doing this one part. I'm trying to make this one system happy on the environment. And part of that involved giving Pierre administrative access on my Ubiquiti network to be able to make the VPN connection in. So
let's just be clear here. I'm shocked that even you have administrative access on your own network. That's dangerous to begin with.
I should probably revoke his rights.
So revoke yours.
He probably already has revoked mine, and I just
so. Are you? Is the plan then after this is complete? I mean, I know that you're building it for a demo and so on and so forth, but will you produce some documentation or videos around this particular error to help others that may run into it?
So I already have the product team saying, please document your stuff, send it to me in a big long email thread so we can make this better. And yeah, so again, it's HCI 23-H2 is very new, only came out in May. And I want to work through where there's some deficiencies. So far, the documentation has been great. Like they literally say, here's your 12 pages of individual 12 steps to do stuff. And here's the scripts to do this. Here's the stuff to configure it. Here's the things you need. All that's been good. It's when it goes off the rails that we have a bit of a problem. That's all.
Yeah, except for the private endpoint part of the documentation.
Yes. Yeah. So we actually have a network in my house and a network in Pierre's house. And then I'm VPN'd into Azure and he's VPN'd into Azure. And then now he can reach through into my VLAN on my side, and I can reach through into his VLAN on his side through the secure connection on the Azure side. So super fun.
I also am building demos.
Oh, yeah?
I have been building... Sorry, I'm getting an authentication screen all of a sudden.
Nice.
So I have been rebuilding. So there was a demo that I did for Microsoft Build in my data security for AI session. And it uses Copilot, particularly Copilot Studio. And we go in and we show how, you can set up authentication, and then also how when you're leveraging Copilot alongside of M365, that you can use data labeling and classification. So there are two pieces that I had to build here. The first thing I had to do is I had to set up my demo tenant with Purview. Now, I was worried that I was going to... So actually, let me rewind. I go in going, I am going to copy the data labels that were used in my demo. So I go in and I go into the demo environment that I'm currently in on one machine, and I look at the things and I'm like, okay, and I'm retyping them and I'm creating all these data labels. And then I go in and read some documentation, because after you create the data labeling, you have to do a publishing policy, and I'm just looking at the docs just to make sure I have everything there. And then I see this big old button that says, use the AI assistant. And I'm like, well, let's look at the documentation of what the AI assistant for Purview does. Literally sets up all these recommended data classifications with descriptions and everything else. But fun fact, if you've already set up everything, you can't use the AI agent if you've already published out some of the data labels. So then I'm like, well, crud. Sorry, I need to authenticate here real quick. So I was like, oh, hey, I probably should just modify these a little bit just to make them fall a little bit more in line with kind of what the environment that I would suggest customers set up be. And anytime you make modifications, particularly to these policies, it could take up to 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
So I did not plan that into my schedule in terms of
Completion of the demos. Yes.
yeah. So then there's the second bit, which is the second bit of challenge that I had was the Copilot that was used for the demo. It's no longer available for me in the original environment that I demoed in. And I did not actually build this demo. It was built by our friends in engineering, and it was kind of a last minute ad. The whole reason I had this demo is that the Purview folks came to me and said, look, we really want you to showcase this. This is really cool capability. It's available for free. Like if data's labeled, it'll pop up in Copilot. Luckily, I had at some point exported. I forgot that I had done this. I had exported the configuration because I wanted to go and look at how I would need to do this if we decided to take this particular session on tour. And so then I took the export. I put it on a thumb drive to move from one environment over to my demo environment, and then imported it back in, and nothing was working. So I reverse engineered based on the configuration, and I went, oh, I see what you're trying to do here. Corrected it, created a new SharePoint site, modified it, set everything up, set the authentication, did the authentication a little bit different, just click the button to use Entra and nothing else. And lo and behold, after 24 hours of Purview finally settling down, my documents finally being labeled and having, it takes 10, 15 minutes for the labeling changes to come through. My demo is actually running, and I actually have set up a Copilot myself. I know I imported in the basic configuration, but the reality is it all had to be redone anyway.
Yeah, that was just the scaffolding to understand what they're trying to do, and then you recreated it. Good stuff, man.
So I'm feeling rather techie today.
Nice.
It was frustrating, obviously, and it's very difficult because I like I said, I didn't build it. The people who did build it are away. Tis the time, tis the season, tis the summer in the U.S. And in other parts of the world, in the northern hemisphere-ish. So a lot of folks were gone, and so I feel rather accomplished now. The chore will be getting all of the documents updated as I now. So what I have is I have a framework, right? Do you do this? Do you do a test and you go set this up, set this up, set this up, and you just this is it's here, it's in my notes, right? It's like a bullet list, and then you'll do it again, and then you'll go when this prompt comes up here, click this button, and then take screenshots and do the proper setup documentation. That's the next step. That's going to be time consuming, but at least I'm fairly confident now that I know how to set up Purview correctly, which the answer is just going to be click the little AI button and let it set up
going forward. Yes. Going forward.
And then one other lesson too. When you enable data encryption, you probably want your user accounts to actually be able to access that encryption when you enable that. Just say set up your groups properly as well. So that was my from the trenches. In addition to the follow the ping pong ball comments that we chatted about earlier. Apparently there is a bunch of USB connects and disconnects that were happening in audio.
Yes. It was me. I was using my KM switch. Switch between computers because I had to respond to a couple of work things.
Oh, so apparently our producer is not producing the show; he's producing work.
No, so he follows the same principle a lot of our listeners do, which he kind of puts us off to the side and just listens to us. That's all.
True. Yeah, 100%. Hey, he's worth every bit of that $3.80. Every penny.
Whoa. Point out in the contract where it says I have to listen to this stuff.
It's true. He's got a mute button on there too.
Hence the reason the audio on the show is of stellar quality at all times.
If you haven't already seen in the chats, you are able to go in and do an exclamation mark word or bang word.
What is that?
And then suggest a word that is work safe to be able to use for naming the show. This particular show is called Birthday Beer, analysis paralysis, and PuckerFactor. Those are supposedly 3 words, but now our guests have started to concatenate words together to get past the algorithm.
What is a concatenate?
Take them together. Concatenate.
Rick, it's not concatenation. They're just making the words Icelandic.
Icelandic words, so they're super long. Okay.
Haven't you ever seen Icelandic words? They are like 4 or 5 words slammed together.
Nice.
And then you can always go
and the important part after submitting words is you can always go throughout the show to patchandswitch.showbot.tv and vote. Because otherwise Joey will just go ahead and like pick whatever words he wants. So you have to make sure you vote for words periodically throughout the show. And at the last 5 minutes of the show, normally we'll go through and see what the next ones are.
Kowski is asking for a definition of work safe.
If you have to ask the definition, don't post it.
It's not the right word if you have to ask. Second phase of the show.
Concatenate? Tell me the word again.
Concatenate.
Kitty catnip.
Concatenate.
Second segment
I've
of the show.
never heard that word.
Second segment of the show is known as Beer Money. Tech support you do for your friends' family cats, and dogs and cousins. And second cousins. Oh my gosh, the show is having fun today. And Beer Money for me, very simple. Just happened last night. You know, you're an IT person working in the field, you're hanging out with your friends and family, and then eventually someone says, "Hey, I want to buy a new laptop. What do you recommend?" And you all have the same kind of release when the question gets asked. And the standard question comes back, as at least in my world.
It depends.
It depends. What's your budget? What are you willing to spend? And then followed up by, what do you want to do with it? But
did you know that concatenate is a function in Excel?
Yes.
Yeah. It's combining cells, right? You've never heard concatenate before?
No.
Wow. I feel privileged having a word
I
you
do
don't
too.
know. I love it.
I mean, listen, I tell you all the time. I tell people all the time, I'm not smart. I just pretend like I'm smart on the internet.
It's even a function in PowerShell.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
It's a function in PowerShell. It's a function in SQL, and it's a function in KQL.
Like, that I'm going to send a concatenate command to Rod Trent.
Nice.
Right now.
See what he does.
Okay, sorry. So laptop.
Beer money.
Sorry, beer money. I got distracted.
Laptop.
Concatenated.
You were super distracted today. Yeah, you were super distracted today. So basically, we started talking about laptops, and it's being used for going back to school for a friend in the family. And I'm like, again, what do you want to spend? You know, the $300 laptops really are not worth it. You got to go and spend some more. Anyway, we ended up recommending and going for one of the new Snapdragon devices, just because it's pretty powerful. Power to dollar ratio is pretty nice, and what they're going to be using it for, which is primarily, you know, word stuff and other things like that. It's got the power to be able to do that, and the speed and the battery life, nice and light and svelte looking. So yeah, she's picked up one of the Surface Copilot PCs.
Very nice.
Not bad.
Very, very nice. My only concern, drivers, right? Because I've heard your.
Oh, I'm struggling with drivers right now, man.
Yeah.
But for the stuff that she's going to be using, it literally is external keyboard mouse, and that's it. Right. And
I love the fact that I'm getting tagged in messages about concatenate now.
Nice.
Sorry, I just
love
didn't
it.
know.
Nice. How about you, man? Beer money?
No, getting people on airplanes. Like,
yeah.
Listen, that was my yeah. I have
that
not
was
done
all of your free time.
That pretty
essentially,
and then some, and then some. Yeah. No, it's been nice. Relatively little issues though. We were doing a little beer money chatting about microphones earlier before the show started. Excuse me, before the show started. That was rude. Hiccup there at the moment. Sorry. So no real beer money for me, But you know what I do have?
What?
I have beer talk.
Oh, okay. We haven't had this in a while.
Our friend Ledwig, you're not going to pay attention. Ledwig's
change the
coming.
channel.
Ledwig's coming to Vegas, and we're going to TK. We're going to
Nice.
tiki. We're going to tiki. Tiki. Blah. I need more coffee. I tried for the first time in my history of IPA drinking beer, Pliny the Elder.
Yes.
I don't understand how this beer does what it does. So it starts out, and you're expecting to be punched in the face based on what you look like. You look at IBU and Pliny the Elder and what the history is known. And no, Ledwig, rum is not greater than beer. Sorry, I disagree. Equal. I'm not, yeah. At any rate, notes of citrus, then little pine comes around, but it like you're expecting it based on the initial taste to just wallop you. And it really doesn't. And then you take another taste and the bitterness shifts to a different part of your tongue and the flavor profile completely changes. And then you feel like you've been slapped around a little bit.
Yeah. So the first one numbs your safeguards. And then the second one is the actual hit.
But then the third one comes and you're back to picking out like less pine, more citrus, not punched in the face. And then have a fourth sip, and it completely changes. More pine, more earthiness, and a little bit of smacking in the face. So it just kind of has this progression. I don't know how it's done. I mean, I know how it's done because I know how beer's made, and then you've got alphas and you've got other pieces, and when you add the hops, give different profiles. This beer deserves every bit of alkali that it gets. As a matter of fact, when we're done with the show today, I will be driving 12 miles to go pick up another bottle. Maybe I'll get two. I enjoyed it. And I have to say it is probably one of my favorite just taste and enjoyment, complexity. Like it stood out. It stood out. And I've had a lot of really great beer. I tried Russian River Brewing brews another citrus-based IPA, which was very good. They do Pliny the Elder. It was a very good IPA, nowhere near Pliny. And apparently there's a Pliny the Younger that they offer at their brewery.
Oh yeah.
Which I believe is just, I don't know what the difference is between them. I need to go look, but
Nice.
I highly recommend it. If you can find a bottle, dude, try it. Russian River Brewing. It's very well known. It's, I think, one of the top rated beer on Untapped. Yeah. I was like, what is the hype for this thing? And especially after I took the first sip, I'm like this is like a normal IPA. And then I took another sip. I'm, wait, what's going on? And my friend Chunga, so we did this last 2 weekends ago, I guess at this point, for my birthday. We did the big birthday show, Bash Music. And so Chunga, who's not a big beer guy, was like, how does this change? What is happening here? Explain to me how this works. We did at New Year's Eve, we did a big tasting, and I kind of went through various styles and how we get certain things and how grains do things and how we do things with sugars and so on and so forth and yeasts. And he was just like, do you care if I have another taste? And I'm like, no, dude, here. And I had, the little beer judges glasses out sampling.
Yeah, let's say this is these are your non-beer drinking friends that you're now indoctrinating into appreciating
a little
beer
bit,
beyond Coors Light.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no. Chunga likes the funk.
Yeah.
Chunga likes his Trappist in a cave, super funky, have been
I would call
aged.
those the farmhouse ale styles.
Well, yeah. Well, this is, yeah. It's he has one. I bought a $20 bottle, and it's still in the fridge downstairs. Because apparently it gets better as it sits. So we'll be opening up. I bought that at Christmas time. It was like $20.
Right.
It's like, this is my all-time favorite. Let it sit. And I'm like, okay, dude. I'm not really into the funky beers, but well, we'll give it a shot. But at any rate, The first taste different than the ninth. Yes, exactly. I was impressed. So highly recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
If you can grab one, try it. It is worth the hype. I'm not a big hype person, right? I'm like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's worth it. Have you tried it? Have you tried Pliny?
I have not tried Pliny. So now it's on my list to go track down. Bottle shop. I'll be there.
Well, speaking of beer, at the last show we were talking about the outdoor beer festival that's happening in Vegas in October.
Yes.
And then I get a text message from Rick. Nothing more than a screenshot of a confirmation of a VIP ticket and a question mark. Is your couch available? Question mark. I'll do you one better. You can stay in the guest room.
Oh, nice. My security clearance has passed.
Yes, I believe so. We will not allow you on the internet, though. Just so you know, you can't use the Wi-Fi.
I'll be on the quarantine guest network.
I will make sure that we have a bottle of Pliny when you come for that. I will.
Right
I
on.
will ensure of that. Yeah, I will double check with my friends just down the way. So, there's a shop that just opened, literally 3 minutes from my house. Bunch of great people there. It's their sister shop where they currently have Pliny, and they'll usually bring it in for me, but I don't have the patience to wait for them to do that. So I'm like, I got to go to Costco anyway. It's close to Costco. I'll just drive over and
Nice.
and grab a bottle. But I will check with them to make sure that they'll have some, or I can just, I guess if I bought it now, it'd be fine, right? Just stick it in the fridge and just let it chill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Let's
I
keep
will
it chilled.
ensure. I will
You'll be good.
ensure that there is a bottle or two of Pliny for when you arrive. And then I did hear one of the breweries that will be at this downtown beer festival is our friends from Shiner, Texas.
Oh, wow. Coming all the way in, eh?
They will be there. And I actually just got gifted for my birthday from the one and only Wonder Kid, Mr. Chandler Smith, a 12-pack, variety pack of Shiner IPAs, of which I have never tried.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm only familiar with their Shinerbach, and that's it.
I've had the Shinerbach, and I've had their Ruby, their grapefruit kind of summer shandy-ish thing, which is
Never had
it. Really good. Those have been the two ones that they've had. So anyway, okay, so that's beer talk. Whew. Pliny Dildo, though. Highly recommend.
Got it.
Okay. Rum. Speaking of rum. Sorry, my USB just disconnected and reconnected again.
Sorry.
Scott, you can come off mute again. Thanks for joining us. I think, he's still
that
in the
was
chat.
Scott reconnecting to the show.
You got it. I've got some random spend. That's our next segment.
Is it on a poo-poo platter?
You may have followed me. If you follow me on the socials, you might be aware.
That's at Rick.
@ Rickster CDN. That works.
At Rick's Green Hat.
You got it. My phone was booted off corporate networking for attached resources because we have a policy in place that's just been enforced recently for phishing resistant MFA. To be able to use passkeys and things like that as a minimum to be able to go off into attached resources. And it was kind of nice, but also extremely annoying. It was nice because I couldn't do work stuff on my phone anymore. But it was
Did
annoying.
You hear that you were just disconnected from the network again?
So basically, I was still getting notifications because the token for Teams was still active.
Yeah.
Even though I couldn't do anything with it. So you could call me on Teams and it would ring on my phone, but I couldn't answer it. Or you could ping me on Teams for notifications for chats, and they would say, "You have a new notification. Please log in to see it." And so that was extremely annoying that was going on.
Yeah.
So I finally broke down and I bought myself a new YubiKey.
Oh, you
NFC,
got yourself a YubiKey.
and I'm going to configure it later today to make it work. So I can have my systems back up and working on my phone. So I've got the YubiKey that's come in to try that one there. And I have a second thing that I purchased recently and just arrived. But this is more of a fun thing.
Okay.
So I went online and I picked up a installation CD. And in the installation CD packaging, it has a little business card
Yeah.
which you can kind of see, but basically it's set up in the design of a do you want to allow these stickers to make changes to your device? And you can either say heck yeah or absolutely not, one or the other. And it's a business card for little stickers. And then if you go further inside the package, you actually get the stickers. And on the top of the label, it says basically, hey, sticker download complete 100% with a progress bar. And then these are the actual stickers.
So it's not a CD, it's stickers.
It's just stickers. But
That's awesome.
the person is called the Help Desk Girl on the Twitters and on other socials and stuff like that. She made these stickers, and this is the packaging that she created for these things. And so you've got, instead of Burger King, it's called Server King. And then instead of French fries, as you can see here, they're actually network RJ45 cables
Ethernet cables.
on the fries. And in the back, they've got the Server King logo, which looks like a couple of servers, one used stacked between the name. So I just want to do a shout out for her. She's got some amazing stuff.
Where do we find her on social and other places?
Yeah, just go on socials. It's @ the Help Desk Girl. And she's on the Twitters, on the Instagrams, on things like that, and probably the TikToks as well. But that's from her sticker shop on Etsy. Great.
Very cool.
And I gave her props. I tweeted it out, and I'm like, really good nostalgia of walking through what a CD looks like.
Yeah.
And going through the install process. Thought about the UAC prompt, which was the business card.
Yeah.
And then the actual sticker download and install. So those will be proudly on the back of my laptop Surface Studio device.
Very cool.
And stuff like that. Very, very cool. And then there's Mr. Coopers. Thank you so much, Coopers Hoosman, JFlow, for the Etsy link inside the chat. Simply etsy.com/shop/the Help Desk Girl. Good stuff.
Help Desk Girl.
I have another sticker coming from her, which hasn't arrived yet, which actually is like a challenge coin that says, I survived the outage. From last week. It's a circle. It looks like a challenge coin, but it's a sticker. And in the center of the globe, it has the blue screen color blue, and there's a little computer in the center of it that has the unhappy face of the blue screen. So that's also coming as well.
Feel unhappy.
Those are my random spends. Highly recommend. How about yourself? Random spend much?
You know I like to smoke meat.
Oh, yes. The smokers.
You know I like to grill. And then the new grill, I've got a rotisserie.
Okay.
The challenge with using a wired temperature probe in a rotisserie.
You only get about 6 revolutions before it ganks
Before
it
it disconnects, and I have to stop it, and then I have to reconnect it, and then I get 6 more. Yeah, it just takes a long time.
Too much of a pain.
You know they have wireless ones now, right?
Don't spoil the surprise, man.
So I did invest in a meter. The meter, which is a fantastic little one. Though I have found now, recently I've started to do a little more sous vide, particularly steaks. And then because I have the absolute massive burner that I've replaced in one of the sides of my grill where I can sear. I've got a sear station. The sous vide is just a legendary. But the problem with the meter is that I have my smoker, my pits and spit smoker, is like made of a gazillion grade thickness steel, not stainless. I don't have the stainless version. And so sometimes the signal drops even when the receiver's right next to it. And then I really can't use it in a sous vide. And then I really am concerned because of the peak temperature that it can reach when I use my super high heat sear station.
Yeah, you go above 500 degrees and you can't really use those default
exactly. And my grill can, particularly because if it's over 100 degrees outside, which it is right now, my grill can get up there very, very quickly because ambient temperature plus, it can get up there. So one of the devices that I use, I actually swapped out the probes on my Fireboard, and I use ThermoWorks probes. And I got a message from ThermoWorks this week that they are introducing a new thing. It's called the RFX, the ThermoWorks RFX. It's not out yet. They ship in September, but you can pre-buy now.
Sponsored,
this is really cool.
Not sponsored.
Sorry?
Sponsored, not sponsored.
Sponsored, not sponsored, but happy to take your money if you want us. Or just an RFX unit.
Well, demo devices will be fine.
Well, yeah, 100%. Yeah, just a couple of these. So the cool thing is the RFX actually has a special gateway device. And the cool thing, one of the challenges I have with the meter system is that you would still need to have the meter system, the other end of it, the end that's not inside of the meat, is supposed to be an ambient probe, but too much of the temperature coming from whatever you're cooking is affecting the ambient temperature reading. So the RFX is really cool because it comes with a gateway, and the gateway actually has a connection to actually use a wired ambient temperature probe. And ThermoWorks ambient temperature probes are the best in the business, flat out.
Right.
Like that's what I use in my smoker. I use an ambient temperature reader on my normal grill as well when I'm rotisserieing, just to make sure that we're all good. But the other thing is they've got this wireless probe. This wireless probe, they've tested it to thousands of feet away from inside of a grill using this new connection. So that solves that. The other thing is 659 feet. They've done a test. 650 feet, right? I shouldn't have said thousands. 650 feet. For
you
this
don't want to
piece.
have this thing next to your head while you're working.
Exactly. You don't have to be close. Like it can be over there. You can charge in just 10 minutes and get hours of time. You can actually adjust the pulling levels. So let's say, for instance, that I am doing a long smoke. I don't need to pull every second, right? So I can get more battery life if you pull every 60 seconds or minute, right? Because the difference if it hits 1 minute versus sitting there another minute doesn't make a difference. Or if I'm searing, I want that every second, right? Because I don't want to overcook the meat. The other thing is it's water resistant. You can actually stick this thing in the dishwasher. And you could put it inside of a bag of your sous vide. One of their videos has this thing going in a damn deep fryer.
Okay, that's a little extreme.
At over 700 degrees. So I have... Sorry, the door's open. I may have purchased, pre-ordered, the ThermoWorks RFX wireless. So it's the ThermoWorks RFX wireless. So right now...
No one tweet this. No one talk about this on socials that Joey has gone ahead and
this
bought
is not on the internet. Nobody knows.
Don't post it on Facebook. Don't post it on Facebook.
So you can save $10 right now through their introductory package, which is the starter kit, which has the gateway and it has the one probe. And any additional probe is $89. But if you really want to save some coin, you can save $86 and get the 4-probe version for $350.
Nice.
So
that's quite some random spend, my friend.
I random spent. It's not coming.
Nice.
It's not going to be here till September, probably October for me, because like I did not order it the first day it came out. I sat there and debated about it. You need these, Rick. Because I know you cook on the egg, which like you talk. I thought my grill's great going at 700 degrees. That green egg can get like crazy hot, right?
It gets super hot. I'm a fireboard guy myself, and it's been working great. Used to be a ThermoWorks guy, but then that particular smoke device died on me.
Yeah.
But I'll have to check it out. Dude, we are almost at time, and we haven't picked the name of the show.
Holy crap. So we need to do
your
words.
Stories are going rather long-winded today. No offense. Head on over to patchandswitch.showbot.tv and let's take a look and see what we got.
We have words, we have bubbles, we have concatenate, we have bourbon greater than rub, we have yet another reorg, staggered rollouts, phantom USB license, phantom USB, license to grill, buzzword, scrolling, headless voice, USB switch, Icelandic, equals concat, parentheses, word 1, comma, word 2, and parentheses. Off exclamation word, the exclamation word rails, function, punction, rotisserie. I am going to say bubbles function concatenate.
Yeah, we got to have concatenate there for sure.
And only one of the words that I chose this week is concatenated.
Yeah, but you did choose 2 from Cooper, though. I guess, is that one from Cooper and one from JFlow? Does that work? It's
Sure.
already been done. It's already
kind
been
of
chosen.
done. It's all
Kind of
decided.
done. So we'll
It's all
say one of them
decided.
was from Cooper and one of them was from JFlow.
Yeah, there you go. One from Cooper, one from JFlow. And with that,
Yeah.
we've come to the end of another exciting episode of the Patch to Switch program. Big thank you to our friends in chat for participating. Sorry I was long-winded today. I like my stories. Thanks to DJ Eddie L, to Vizio MVP, who's always here. Of course, JFlow for helping mod, and Cooper for keeping JFlow in line. Aspen Forrester, let's see, we said DJ Eddie, we said Vizio MVP. Our good friend Ledwig, looking forward to see you invade Las Vegas soon. Oh, by the way, Ledwig, subscribe to D23, both Heather and I. Yep. So we'll have to talk about that later. We said Aspen. Rachel, who's a new caller, first-time caller. We don't know if they're a long-time listener or not. Kowski, of course. Tecker. Yeah, anyway. What else do I have? Chaos 13, KT Baker, The Shady Suspender, Soren. We're back in 2 weeks' time. Until then, have a weekend, everybody. Oh, yeah, and AZ Cloud L. Don't forget AZ Cloud L.
You didn't say anything to Chaos 13X.
Totally shut up. Chaos 13X.
What did you guys talk about this week?
Smokers.
Smokers? Okay.
Smokers.
Because I wasn't paying attention. Sorry.
Yeah, me neither.
Plug in that
There's
USB.
Joe.
Yeah. Plug it
Was
in.
there a show?
Plug in the USB.